I kind of thought about what Christmas really means. I wanted to put together a Christmas for families that weren't going to have Christmas. The morning when we get up and we have our little meal and open presents, they'd be sitting at home wondering what they're going to have for dinner. And I wanted to somehow provide a Christmas for those families. I really didn't know how to pursue it other than mention it to the guys with the oilfield ministry when we came together one night for dinner in November. And once I'd mentioned it, I just got really burdened with it. And even though there wasn't much involvement at the start, I went headlong into it. I began to ask questions to some folks I thought might have the answers. In the process, I got directed to the Workforce Center with Sue. And she said, I'm game. I've got families that I meet on a daily basis that are right up that category. I'll hook you up. How many can you take on? And we'd initially started with 150 max. I believe that's what the dining room holds. And I was going to start selling tickets at $10 or $15 a piece to cover the costs. And that's kind of where we started. And in the process of getting the families, I asked her to make a special request with the parents to talk with their children and get a list from their children what they'd like to have for Christmas. And that's where I left it. And she was going to get back with me a week before the dinner and give me a list. And that weekend we were going to go out and get presents. The way God provided, we did prime rib, which is very expensive. And the way God provided for everything, even the presents. I need to learn to walk more in faith. I learned that through the whole process. In fact, I'd say the first 3 days of the week, my wife didn't want to be around me because things weren't falling into place Wayne's way. God was trying to let me know, you need to trust me. I'm taking care of this. I'm doing this, not you. And he had to crush me and push me out of the way. In fact, coming in Saturday morning, things weren't in place. Doors were locked. I didn't have access to the food that we had here. Just a lot of things took place, but in the process up to that point, I learned there's no time for worry or concern. God's got this taken care of. And he did.
Tears have started drying. There's something in his lights that glows pure. A Savior in a manger lying. Up above these blankets white, holy are angels filling up the sky. With the star is burning in the Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Christ is born. Christ is born. Hallelujah.
Trying to explain what took place that day. How do you explain it? With words. I mean, you can't explain it to the people that came and helped. The volunteers, I knew maybe a fourth of them. Most of them I didn't even know. I never even met them until they walked in the door that night. The families I didn't know. The looks in the kids' faces, the looks in the parents. To talk to the workforce ladies and find out where some of these families had come from, where they were at the current time. One family in particular just months back had no home, no hope. They have a home now, but there was no Christmas even in sight for them. They were blown away. Their children were so excited by the sleds they got that night. They went out in front of the chapel and played in the snow. It was God all the way.